Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDex, and we've just had a Nintendo Direct covering mostly what's going to be happening over the winter, but there was a few extra things as well. And to join me with a discussion on what we thought of it, we've got my good friend Azdin from Grinning Wolf Games. Hello Azdin.
Hello, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Aston has his own channel, Grinning Wolf Games, as I already mentioned. So I'll put that link in the top pinned comments, so go check him out. He does some excellent videos there. So let's just get your first thoughts. What were you going into this direct expecting?
Well, this is the thing. You don't know, you don't want to, like, overthink what could be announced because you don't want to be disappointed. So I tried to, like, it's funny what you mentioned yesterday in the actual recording of the event, that sometimes it's best to go in a bit pessimistic.
Yeah, definitely, because I see people make lists saying, "Oh, new 3D Mario and new Wave Race, new F Zero, things like that," and I'm thinking you're setting yourself up for disappointment. If you go in just not expecting much, you can only be pleasantly surprised.
100%. I did. This is the thing. I tried to keep my feet on the ground as well. Because in terms of asking, I really wanted like collections, like for example, the Arkham collection, the Batman games.
I'd love them on Switch.
You know what I mean? Like there's so
Yeah,
many games that are from 2 generations ago that could easily be ported over. But yeah,
yeah.
in terms of expectations, every the vast majority of the things that got announced, I was kind of expecting, like especially the N64, especially because it's been rumored for so long now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean overall, I quite enjoyed this direct. I thought it was a good one. Not the best one, but still a good decent one. So if we go through what was announced, and I know the first announcement, I thought it was going to be Smash to start with, but it was actually Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and I know you're excited about this.
You know what's really funny for because like in the past, it's always been Smash at the very beginning of directs. I actually
Yeah,
thought they were announcing in the Monster Hunter character as a Smash character, because that would be incredible. Considering you got Rathalos in Smash already as a boss, you know.
yeah, and but the thing is, the Monster Hunter became a Mii fighter, a paid one, which sort of like made me think, oh, maybe they're not. But then when it says Capcom Presents, I thought, okay, this can't be Smash then.
In terms of, I'm really excited about that. It's been a long time
Yeah,
coming. Like, I'm a massive, massive Monster Hunter fan. I've been playing it ever since Try, and I've had virtually every edition that's come out. Because like, put it this way, I bought a PSP back in the day, so I could
oh
play
wow.
the games that came out there. I've imported games and so forth. But yeah, ever since World, they've kind of changed the formula, and it's been really good, and it's left you wanting for more. It's felt a bit flat in some aspects, you know, especially in
Yeah,
terms of content. Like, don't get me wrong, they've made the games a lot more accessible to newcomers, which is always good, and they struggled to do that in the past because it was very niche. But I don't know. I just feel that the games come out with very little content now. Like for example, Monster Hunter World, the base game was all right, but what really made it stand out was when they put in Iceborne, because they added new monsters, a new region, new storyline, master rank, which is kind of like the ultimate hard mode, as it were. So it's good to see that they've doing the same thing with this one, and this one to me kind of looks like more of a medieval setting. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with.
but yeah. I mean, I've not played Monster Hunter Rise myself, and nothing against it. It's just I know I don't have the time for it. That's why. But I do like the look. Every time I see footage of it, I'm like, oh, should I give it a go? But then I'm like, I don't have the time.
It's
um,
the time sinks, man. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely. So next we have Mario Party Superstars got a bit more information. Basically, this is a sort of collection game, I suppose, of like 100 classic mini games coming back and 5 N64 boards. They revealed every board now that's in this game. It's a shame it's only 5, but they are good ones that they've brought back, and I am looking forward to this one. Are you a Mario Party player?
You know what? Unfortunately, and it's going to sound really sad, I don't have a lot of people to play games with, but I do love Mario Party, especially the ones on the N64. I really, really enjoyed them. And I like how you can be winning at one moment and then losing badly the next. I really, really enjoy them, and I do like the mini games. I thought it's a really good concept. I'm happy for the fans of the game, and like I said, like I do like Mario Party, but I haven't played any for the longest time. But it's good to see that they've brought back content from previous games, you know?
Yeah, and when on the talk about not having people to play with, this one has online, so that's something that can help with that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, if I didn't have a backlog and a half, like, who knows? Maybe in the future you and me could be playing.
Well, the day it comes out, we're going to be streaming it for sure, so maybe we'll see. Okay, so next one is Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars, which is an RPG, I think. I've never heard of this one.
I think that was the first time I've ever seen anything of it. I do like actual tabletop games, and this one looks interesting, but I don't know, it didn't catch my attention. Maybe it's one of those things that I need to look at it more and get maybe more information to actually see what it's all about.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see new things, isn't it, on these? So the fact I've not heard of it isn't a bad thing at all. But yeah, it's just not one that grabbed me personally.
Same here.
Yeah, so next one was called Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. Now this is a game I don't know anything about as well, but from the chat, this seemed to be a popular one.
I'm on the same boat. Like, I know through reading articles online and so forth that it is a very popular game. But and this is the thing, one thing I like about when they release these kind of games on the Switch is that you may have missed out on some of the games, like on other platforms, but it's good when they do release it on the Switch because you get the opportunity not only to play them, but to play them on the go. And yeah, yes, the announcement of this game I'm really excited about, especially because there's a physical copy coming out as well.
Oh, you like your physicals, don't you? Okay, the next announcement was, and I think I said it on this when I was live reaction to this one. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. They're announcing the second wave of the expansion pass. Now, I did enjoy Age of Calamity. It was the first game that I streamed the whole way through last year, but I didn't buy the DLC, and I just forgot that it was getting DLC until I just saw this.
I'm not a fan of Muso games, I'm going to be honest with you. And I do have this game, this Hyrule Warriors. I kind of got halfway. I've bought it because I thought, you know what? I need to get up to speed with the story of how everything went wrong in Hyrule, basically. How everything collapsed before the sequel comes out. And I've kind of like, you know what? For the most part, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm very tempted of getting the DLC. But again, backlog, man, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's hard.
What I will say, without spoiling too much of the story here, you don't really need to play this one to see the story, because it sort of isn't really canon.
Are you telling me that like Hyrule gets destroyed?
I'm not saying anything. Destroyed by a cannon, yes.
Spoiler alert!
Okay, the next game was Chocobo Grand Prix, or GP. This is the Final Fantasy spin-off, but go-karting.
Yeah.
Looked cute. Looked a bit simplistic, but it looked cute enough.
You know what's funny? Like, and it doesn't cease to amaze me how I love like developers. They sit down probably in boardrooms thinking, how can we milk our franchise even more. And they always come out with a racing game. You know?
But then I said it on the live reaction. I'm like, I don't mind other franchises doing the Mario Kart thing. I mean, I think any mascot could get a kart racer. It's harmless, really. But I don't know how well this one will do, but we shall see.
Well, it's just nice to see, like, yeah, a lot of people say, oh, like, for example, Crash Bandicoot's games, oh, it's copying Mario Kart. Yeah, but isn't it nice that other franchises are trying something different, you know? Like the Sonic one.
Yeah.
Or basically the Sega version of it. I thought, like, I haven't played it myself, but it looked interesting enough.
They don't feel like Mario Kart. They're doing their own thing with it. They control differently, so I'm all for it when they do that, you know, so, you know, it's harmless. I'm sure it'll do alright, maybe. Okay, next we got an announcement for an announcement. I love it when they do this. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's final character is coming in a couple of weeks.
I think that was a good play on behalf of Nintendo. I think they... Like, because honestly, I was expecting Twitter and the whole of internet to catch fire with if they announced it last night.
The thing is, as well, with the Smash characters, they can either, especially when they start with them, they either take over the direct that you don't really pay attention to much else, or they leave people really disappointed at who the character is, that they're just kind of bitter the whole way through the directs. They don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
So maybe just having it as its own thing. But yeah, Mr. Sakurai Presents, the final one, happening in a couple of weeks.
Oh, mate, like, the 5th is going to be interesting.
Yes, and the is that the same day Metroid Dread comes out?
It's 3 days earlier.
Okay, cool. Thought it'd be a busy day otherwise, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, and I hope with Sakurai presenting it, saying this is the character, because sometimes, imagine that Pyra and Mithra trailer, where at first it looked like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, but if that was presented as a Smash character, you straight away know, because like that Byleth trailer, we knew it was going to be a Smash character going in. We immediately see it's Fire Emblem. But if they had just showed that without saying this is Smash Brothers, then it would be like this could be Fire Emblem DLC, and then suddenly the Smash envelope appears. Like, it's double bluff. So I hope they do it with a whole... They don't make us think it's a different game first trailer.
Well, that's always been, to me, the appeal of a Smash character being unveiled. The fact that they present it in such a clever way.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you want to watch it again and again and again. And you think, you know what, that was clever. And like you said, like you see something completely different, and all of a sudden you start, as the trailer progresses, you realise what's coming up, and then you see the famous envelope.
But yeah, it's just a shame. That's why it being in the direct helps with that, because you don't necessarily know it's a Smash trailer.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of trailers that we didn't know fully what it was going to be, the Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I thought this was Dead Rising at first, because it showed the abandoned mall.
I would have loved that, to be fair. I can't wait. Again, like, not to bring the subject up again, but that Dead Rising is one of those bucket list games that Nintendo needs to put onto the Switch. But carry on.
And it's Capcom, isn't it? So they tend to put stuff on the Switch. But yeah, this is the game that Nintendo themselves leaked a few hours before the Direct. They put it on their Japan website and then took it down quickly.
I'm really excited about this one. I do love Kirby. I've had Kirby games since the very, very first one on the Game Boy. And I put it this way, I remember going with my dad to the shop to buy it. That's how
cool.
That's how much Kirby is kind of like instilled in my head, so to speak. But yeah, like I'm just glad to see that they're trying something different, because like for the past, I don't know, God knows how many years, they've tried to be so safe with the franchise, And don't get me wrong, it's been good for the most part. Like the ones on the 3DS have been decent, but it just gets to a point where it's very samey.
I found with Star Allies, I just sort of breezed through it and then forgot about it afterwards. And then this one's called Forgotten Land. So, but yeah, it's like, I'm glad they've gone 3D with this one. This looks like it could be a lot more interesting.
I'm just looking forward to see what kind of new power-ups he's going to get.
They showed off like the sword, didn't they? Which is standard, isn't it? So yeah, it's looking really good. I mean, do you think it's going to be open? Because I got the impression it was going to be more like 3D world style, linear level based.
It's interesting you ask that, because this is the thing, right? You almost got like two different formulas of 3D games, right? Say let's use a Mario as an example. Mario, you don't really have levels, as in get from A to B in 3D Mario games. It's more of a collectathon, right? So
yeah.
You're pretty much in the same environment, but you've got different tasks, like collect this here, do this to collect this there, and so forth, right?
Yeah.
This gave me like Kirby, unless his main objective in this game is to pretty much do the same and maybe collect stuff within the environment, then maybe it's going to be one of those kind of following the Mario formula as it were. But I don't know,
Yeah.
It's either that or they are just fully fledged levels where he needs to get from A to B and then he goes on to another one. But who knows at this moment in time. I would have thought it's the first one, in all honesty, where he maybe has to explore and collect stuff. But who knows?
But then, like, Mario Odyssey was, like, probably the most open Mario's been, but there were linear sections you could get to do little platforming challenges, so maybe it's something like that. Yeah, next one was announcing the next Direct, and that is an Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct happening next month. Are you an Animal Crossing player?
I used to be, not anymore.
See, again, I don't play Animal Crossing because it's a big time thing, but I know Sophie's a big fan, so she's looking forward to this update. So we get to find out more about that next month. And speaking of updates, Mario Golf Super Rush got its next free expansion pass, whatever they're calling it. Do you play Mario Golf?
Nope.
Fair enough. So Sophie and I actually played the new courses today. They're good. They're just golf courses. They're fine. The snow one is kind of like snowflake shaped, and you sort of go along the different holes that way. So that's pretty cool design. Okay, and then we were talking earlier about Smash Brothers trailers and how they make you think it's something else, and then the envelope appears. The next trailer we got was for Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition, which I know you're looking forward to.
Yes, they've answered my prayers. They really have.
But what got me, and I said on the stream, is near the beginning it showed Mickey holding an envelope that looked like a Smash envelope.
Yes. I remember you saying, yeah.
Mickey Mouse for Smash, but then maybe he's going to hand it to Sora, who knows.
Oh my god, that would have been... Oh.
So this is a 3DS port, I believe.
Okay.
From what I guessed. So, we had Miitopia, now we've got this. I mean, there's a lot of other 3DS games I'd rather have on Switch, to be honest, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So next one, another sort of supposed Disney-owned game now, is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Is this the one that was like really popular back in the day?
I believe so, yeah. I've never played it. I've heard really good stuff about it. I'm just happy, again, what a perfect time for it to be released on a portable console.
It's kind of like they've put a few Star Wars games on the Switch already, like the Jedi Knight and Episode 1 Racer. So, maybe Shadows of the Empire will come one day.
Oh my god.
Okay, next one I don't really remember much about. Dying Light 2 Stay Human and Dying Light Platinum Edition. With the first one there, Stay Human, it said Cloud Edition, and that's probably why I switched off, because I've tried the cloud-based games on the Switch here and my internet's not good enough to run them.
Same here. Like I know the first one's coming out physically, and I can't wait for again. Never played it the first time round. Happy to buy it and then some, basically, on the Switch. More than happy to support it. The cloud version, nah. Like I'm honestly not convinced by cloud gaming yet, because I don't think that like a lot of places have the infrastructure, the speed, and so forth.
Yeah, just there's no point. Like, at least they tend to give you like trials first, so you can see how it runs on your Switch at least. So that might be worth looking at. But with Hitman, when that came earlier in the year, it just did not run for me very well anyway. So next one was okay. So remember on the February Direct, they announced a game called Project Triangle Strategy.
Yes.
Well, they've actually changed the name to it. It's now called Triangle Strategy. Which is what they did with Octopath Traveler as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one that I didn't get Octopath Traveler. Again, I just don't have time for games like that, and I kind of feel the same about this one.
I'm excited about it. Like, to be fair, again, I've downloaded the demo. I've got it on my Switch. Still not booted it up. Because, life and other stuff get in the way. But
day, isn't it?
Yeah, but honestly, like I am really excited about it, especially because Octopath Traveler is such a beautiful game. Honestly, it's just
I love the art
incredible.
style, definitely.
Yeah.
So next was Metroid Dread, a game we've already talked about, and a little reminder that that's coming out.
Right, so this is turning out to be one of the most popular, in fact, probably the most popular Metroid game ever. I can't wait, man. Honestly, I'm just glad that, firstly, they've kind of honored a new game on Metroid's anniversary, and second of all,
Yeah, true.
if you're an old gamer like I am, or I consider myself an old gamer, you know, like for example, when it first got announced that it was Metroid Dread, I leaped off my seat on the train because I was watching that direct on the train going back home from work.
Wow.
Honestly, man, I was so excited because Metroid Dread was pretty much of a myth. Like for years.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean? Like it used to hear for ages, oh, Metroid Dread. It's like, well, this keeps coming up every 4 years. Nothing comes from it. And to see it now and see the Emmy like robots like running after you, that's phenomenal. And I know like the internet's kind of divided in terms of how much Nintendo is trickling in terms of the storyline. In all honesty, it kind of needs it.
Yeah, because like Metroid isn't. I mean, I always see it as one of Nintendo's bigger franchises, but really, it's not. It's not the biggest of hitters. But I think this will be the best-selling Metroid game until Prime 4 comes out, at least.
It's just good to see that they've kind of like they're moving the story forward. You know, it's not. It's like because this is the thing. A lot of franchises they get stuck in a rut and they keep doing remakes, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because maybe they have more technology and means and budgets and so forth, but the fact that this follows Fusion, it's remarkable. It really is, and I can't wait to see how, especially because a lot of Metroid games you have a bit of previously on Metroid kind of like intros to them.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what's happened between her ending Fusion and her supporting the Galactic Federation with this new mission, and everything we've seen so far looks like it's gonna be like an epic game.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And when you consider the Pikmin 3 port and Luigi's Mansion 3, they have sold incredibly well, and they're franchises you wouldn't expect to sell as well as they have on Switch. So I really, really do hope this one hits the big time on the Switch.
Not to deviate from what basically the main topic we're discussing. The Wii U it's a shame that it didn't do like better, because the amount of games, and it goes to show the amount of games that came out on that console originally, they sell like hotcakes on the Switch. Now it could be
definitely.
It could be because of the Switch factor and everything, but as they're really good games, man. Like Pikmin 3 is a really good game. Like what else? The Mario 3D World is a very good game. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on, I suppose.
So moving on to the announcement that got me the most excited. I remember I couldn't scream and shout during the reaction. It was like 11 at night. But I did sort of squeal a little bit. That was that they mentioned Nintendo Switch Online. Now, the most rumours I've been hearing is Game Boy Color games coming. But when they showed Ocarina of Time, that really got me excited. So we're getting N64 games and Mega Drive games, or Genesis, of all things. Was not expecting that at all. What do you think of this?
Where do we start? So I too have heard many rumors. If I was in charge of if I had a say on what goes onto the NSO, Nintendo Switch Online, the way I would have done it is I would have added Game Boy Advance. Simply because it's been done before, like on the Wii U, and if I recall correctly, on the 3DS to a certain extent.
The Ambassador games, yeah.
And also because you can play at the moment, to a certain extent, every single Metroid game is available for you to play. And that includes, okay, cool, like, you might not have a 3DS, but you can play Samus Returns, the remake. I just thought it would have been a good thing for them to at least have announced, okay, we're going to add Game Boy Advance and you can play Zero Mission and Fusion.
Yeah, then you'd have all the 2D ones before Dread, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you can try them out as well. But I'm happy with the announcement. I'm happy to see Banjo-Kazooie added to the N64 lineup.
I didn't even notice that when watching the stream. I noticed it afterwards, but...
My biggest concern about the N64 coming to the Nintendo Switch Online was, the reality is, and I grew up with the N64, right? I was there when it came out and all that. My only concern was that before Rare basically left Nintendo, or working with Nintendo, I should say better, most of the best top tier games were made by them. Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye. Do you know what I mean? Like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, like a lot of games where top tier, they came from that studio. And I just thought that's not to say there's no good games on the N64, because they are. There's a lot of decent games out there. But yeah, the vast majority, when you think about N64, you think about the Rare titles, you know?
Yeah, so that's why seeing Banjo-Kazooie coming, does that mean we could see more Rare games coming later on?
I hope so. And the thing is, I made a video on my channel ages ago. I think it was one of the first videos, and it was basically the 5 things. Yeah, the 5 things I want to see Nintendo do in 2021. And one of the things I spoke about was how for the longest time there's been rumors about Microsoft working closely with Nintendo, and maybe them bringing Game Pass, and not even Game Pass, just maybe bringing their own version of Rare Replay.
I'd have loved that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with just exclusives that came out on Nintendo consoles. And that would have, like, my argument was that would have been perfect, because one, Microsoft could teach Nintendo a thing or two about the internet in the 21st century, and second of all, it would have paid massively for Microsoft, because they would have a better footing in Japan. Again, not to deviate from what we're talking about, I'm hoping that they've shown off the crown jewel of rare games on the N64, and slowly but surely they'll trickle down more and more games, you know?
Yeah, I think if they wanted to announce this thing with a real bang, other than, oh yeah, N64 games, like, now we know that rare games aren't out of the question, why not have Diddy Kong Racing as one of the flagship for this first wave of N64 games? Because that one, again, playing it online as well.
But, again, this is the thing, right? We don't know the price. We know there's a controller, we know there's 2 consoles. Cool.
Yeah.
They need to really sell it. They started with NES games. Cool, that's fine. I don't have, and I'm sure I can speak for the vast majority of listeners right now, right? That the only reason you buy the Nintendo subscription service that they offer is to play, mainly to be able to play online, right?
Yeah,
with other
much.
people, and maybe to save your games. The other things, like for example, the library of NES and Super Nintendo games, is just pretty much a bonus, kind of like to justify it, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, they start both catalogs started off strong, and then they kind of like fell off a cliff, because like
Yeah.
the last Super Nintendo games that got announced, I've played Jelly Boy when he first came out. I remember it very vividly.
Oh, really?
But it's not very appealing. There's so many games. I can count on every single finger and toe in my body of better games you could have added. There's a game called Plock,
Oh, yeah.
for example, which is a cult classic. They could have added it to the Nintendo Switch Online, you know. And it's not just that. My understanding was at the time that Nintendo would release maybe every month, every 2 months, or like they would have like a schedule of sorts where they would release games, you know. But
There's no consistency.
no, not at all, not at all. We're seeing some games here, and then Radio Silence, and then here you go, and it's like, oh, what? This came out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's easy to forget about them in that way. But yeah, but with because obviously they're calling it the expansion pack, which I like that they've named it that, because that's like N64 reference. But like, it obviously depends on how much they're going to charge for it. I mean, I can't see it being double the price.
Well, I don't know, man. I think they, when they do announce it, they need to really like cross the T's and dot the I's about it.
Yeah.
And just be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. This is roughly when they're gonna come out. This is this is pretty much the lineup for the future, and this is much it's gonna cost. You know.
So, because on the Wii U Virtual Console, N64 games were £9 each.
Yeah.
So if they added £9 to the price, then that's for the price of one N64 game. You're getting a year's worth of. I mean, I think they've got like 17 of them. I think they said are coming.
Well, this is, again, it's just like, I think it's gonna be, to a certain extent, a make or break, because they've got, again, they're adding a decent library, or a really good console to have the library of, which is the N64. But I think they need to set it in stone on how many games are going to get released and when they're going to get released and added. Like, for example,
Definitely.
Diddy Kong Racing, they have to add it. They have to add it.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. They have to. However, maybe it's a game that they could add in the future, not straight away.
Do you think the reason they're doing it as an extra price is because obviously with Mega Drive games on there, Sega's gonna have to get a cut of that?
Well, that I don't know. I'm not sure, man. Like I'm glad you mentioned the other console. Now, the Mega Drive, I'm happy they're bringing a non-Nintendo console, but I think they could have added so many other consoles to it. That's not criticizing the Mega Drive. The Mega Drive was and will always be an epic console. Has an incredible library. I used to go around my friend's house and play Streets of Rage, Alien Syndrome, not Alien Storm, I can't remember the name of the game, but I love the Mega Drive. But I do feel that we've got access to those games, you know?
There's a Mega Drive collection on the Switch.
Yeah, man. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's a missed opportunity. You know, I think they could have added, and I don't know whether they haven't done it because of licensing, because it's hard to transfer or basically translate the game from its original console onto the Switch. Maybe it's very hard to kind of port, and I understand that. But I think that I would have preferred either games from the Sega Saturn or from the Dreamcast.
Oh, Dreamcast.
Do you know what I mean? Because, dude, you can play Mega Drive games on your phone. Let's be real, you know?
Pretty much.
like you can they're accessible. But games on the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast, they're pretty much locked behind their consoles. The only saving grace in my eyes, and this is like solely my opinion, is if they add either 32X or Mega CD games.
Yeah. Also, what would this mean for that? Because you notice that Sonic 2 is on this, but not Sonic 1, which is weird. But I'm guessing because of the multiplayer and it's online. But what does this mean for that Sega, the Sonic Classics collection, whatever it's called, that's coming out next year? Like, if the Sonic games are gonna be put on this thing, then why would we buy this collection?
Precisely my point. You know, so it's
but Sonic CDs on there.
Well, again, it's like we were just like talking about. If you consider that back in the day, a game on the Wii U, for example, for an N64 game was £9. So okay, this extra expansion pack, are we going to be paying the vast majority of the money? Is going to go to N64 games or to Mega Drive games? Because what's the point of Mega Drive games? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they like it's almost one step forward, two steps back. And again,
yeah,
I am not, for the record, and this is my disclaimer, I love the Mega Drive. It is an epic console. Like, it was, like, I was there during those console wars in the 90s, and it was incredible. What a time to be alive. But I think you can get Mega Drive games out of a cereal packet now.
And also, the one big concern I have with the N64 games, and this comes from the Wii and Wii U Virtual Console, is they're releasing an N64 controller, which is like 40 quid, I think, and there'll be postage on top of that. But the problem I have is, obviously you'd be able to use your Joy-Cons and Pro Controller and all that, but some N64 games are not very playable without an N64 controller because they substitute the C buttons for the right analog stick, and some games do not translate well to that if it's designed for button presses. And like in Donkey Kong 64, for example, you have to hold Z and then press the C button to do a certain move. But when you're using the right stick instead of pressing a button, I would constantly be doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I remember the N64. The Trident controller, there was pretty much 3 ways you could use it, or hold it basically, which was cool at the time. It was quite innovative, you know. But yeah, how those games are gonna translate to the Switch in terms of commands, it's gonna be interesting to see, because there's so many games that required certain buttons, and you know it might be very awkward, and I'm surprised they're kind of porting some games, to be honest, considering the controller.
Jet Force Gemini you mentioned earlier, that's on the Rare Replay, and on that, because on the N64 controller you press C up to jump. So now on the Xbox controller you have to flick the right analog stick up to jump, and it's not very responsive that way. So we'll see what happens.
I love those games. Like I think I posted something on Twitter, I believe, today, and one of the games I'm excited about is Operation Windback, right? So Operation Windback was the poor man's Metal Gear Solid for the N64 to a certain extent.
Okay.
Now, to me, it's an incredible game. I really, really enjoy it. If they could apply motion controls to that game, wow. Honestly.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, like, yes, you're quite limited because of the controls and the mechanics and so forth, but if you can add new aspects to a game, you're pretty much giving it a fresh lick of paint.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And then maybe that could justify the price, because obviously adding online functionality to them, it's for games like Mario Kart 64, that's on there day one. That's huge, really. To be able to play block fort battle mode online with people, my god, that's going to be worth the price for me.
You can now fall out with your friends who live abroad. It's going to be epic.
Imagine if, obviously they wouldn't straight away because of Mario Party Superstars coming out, but if they put the N64 Mario Parties on there,
I'd be really happy about that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's probably the thing we're going to talk about the longest. We've gone quite a long time on that topic, but there's a lot to talk about. It could have been its own video, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just run through the next announcements, because I don't have much to say about the next list, but I'm sure you have something to say about some of them. Shadowrun Trilogy, I don't really know what that is.
I don't remember. Do you know what? Like, you mentioned it. No disrespect, I can't remember it.
I only remember it because I'm reading off a list. Okay, Castlevania Advanced Collection. That's something that got leaked before or rated.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 4 Castlevania games coming in another collection. And the first Castlevania collection was really good. Like, not just for the games, but the way it was packaged. And it looks like this one has all the extras to go with it as well.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, I've never played those games before, but I do like their NES and Super Nintendo Castlevania games.
I remember playing 2 of them. Like, if you ask me which ones, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I remember playing 2 games on the DS back in the day. DS, was it? On the Game Boy Advance. What am I talking about? I remember playing the games on the Game Boy Advance many moons ago. I think I was in uni. And, mate, they were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm really happy they've done a shadow drop of it. I haven't downloaded it yet because I don't really have the time. But I'm happy that they're there now.
I only buy games full price if I know I'm going to play them straight away. Otherwise, just wishlist them. Then when they go on sale, might as well get them then.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, ActRaiser Renaissance.
So this one's interesting. What are your thoughts on it?
So I've never played ActRaiser, I'll have to say. But I've looked at it on the eShop, and it's a bit of a high price for me to take the punt on, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on.
ActRaiser, if I recall correctly, I never played it. I know of it. Came out on the Super Nintendo years ago, and it was half kind of like hack and slash platformer, half rebuilding the world simulator, and it was by, if I recall correctly, it was Enix before Square Enix merged together. And and it was from Quintet, which was one of the little development teams from Enix back in the day. Now, I did not expect this game at all. I am excited, maybe not so much because of this announcement, but because there were rumors going round about the original Quintet developers wanting to re-release some of their games, like Terranigma. Now, Terranigma is part of a trilogy. They're basically called the Quintet Trilogy, and that's Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma.
Oh, I loved Illusion of Gaia.
Illusion of Gaia is called Illusion of Time, I think, in Europe, or the other way around.
Yes, it is. I own the SNES cartridge of it. It's Illusion of Time here.
Right. So do you know what's funny? Like Soul Blazer never came out in Europe. It came out in the US and
Yeah.
Japan. Illusion of Time or Gaia, I believe, came out in both regions. Terranigma never came out in the US.
Okay.
I've got that game in Spanish.
Wow.
Believe it or not, like I'm fluent in Spanish, but
Yeah.
and it was the only copy I could get hold of. But my point to all of this is, I'm excited to see that maybe that they've released this game maybe to get funds and to see people's reaction and how the reception is taken in for them to maybe say, okay, let's sit down and let's talk about releasing a trilogy. Because look at Collection of Mana. That's done. I haven't looked at the numbers, but that's incredible. You know, especially if you grew up with all three games of that collection.
Yeah, I mean, I like Secrets of Mana, it's the only one I've played, and I did really like that one. Okay, so next announcement was it's something we already knew about. That was Deltarune Chapter 2. You an Undertale fan?
Never played it. When I'm 80, I'll get to play it because I haven't got time at the moment.
It is one of those games that I did get round to playing, and I very much enjoyed it. It is it doesn't take very long to play through. It's not like a big, long, massive one. And Deltarune, I downloaded Chapter 1 because it was free, and I think Chapter 2 is free as well. But I haven't played them yet, so it's something I'll get round to. So next, I think, was the Sizzle Reel. Now, this happens to me in other reaction videos as well, where the Sizzle Reel is where my videos get the copyright strike or copyright claim because of the music they play over top.
Really?
And it happened with this one as well.
Oh my god.
So all I need to do is mute that bit and then we're fine, or cut it out. But so are you excited for Hot Wheels Unleashed?
Nah.
No. See, and it looks fine, but it's probably not something I will get, but we'll see. Surviving the Aftermath, I can't remember what that is.
I kind of fell asleep with the Sizzle Reel, to be honest.
Was my stream not entertaining enough?
No. Like seeing your reaction and reading everyone else's like comments was entertaining. The Sizzle Reel, there's nothing that I remember. Put it that way.
Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei 5 reminder. Wreckfest. This looks interesting. It was like a rally game where you're meant to crash into each other.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Arcade Archives Pac-Man and Arcade Archives Xevious. And I said I didn't realise they were still doing Arcade Archives games. And why has Pac-Man taken this long to get on there?
Yeah, tell me about it.
And then Room Factory 5 as well. I've never played a Room Factory game.
I know there's a content creator that I was talking to on Twitter, and I think she mentioned that the only game she wanted was that game, so I'm happy for her.
Oh, good.
If that is the case.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is something we could talk about a bit probably. Mr. Miyamoto turned up and gave us some information on the long-awaited Super Mario movie, which is coming out in December next year in North America at least. And they announced who the voice cast is. This was probably the part of the stream where we just kept on laughing. So he announces that Chris Pratt is playing Mario, which is interesting casting, to say the least.
You know what made me laugh? The very weird cast of characters that they're gonna have on this animated movie. Like, I remember you sitting there saying, "I don't know who that is. I know who that is, but I don't know who that is." And like, I know
most of these people. I've never heard of them.
No, dude, fair play. Honestly, like, you wouldn't have thought. Like, if you caught someone in the street and said, like, who's gonna be in this new Mario animation, I don't think anyone could have hazard a guess on the lineup of cast of characters.
No.
You know?
But The thing is, and I know, I mean, I'm a fan of Chris Pratt, but it's just weird. What kind of voice is he going to do for Mario? Because, like, I'm guessing he's going to be different to how he sounds in the games, because Charles Martinet's in this film as well as different roles. If they were going to do the same voice as the games, they might as well have given the role to him.
I think I think Charles Martinet is going to be more. He's going to do more of a Stan Lee kind of cameo.
He's going to voice Yoshi.
Yeah,
I reckon.
probably. Although I have to say, Jack Black as Bowser, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a fan of Jack Black.
That is perfect.
And you know what? He's really good at impersonating people. I've seen him in interviews, and he's impersonated the Rock, and he honestly perfect. Honestly, perfect. So it's going to be interesting.
I went into work this morning and I said to my boss, did you know they're making a Super Mario movie? And he had no idea. It was going to be an animated one. He had never heard that they were doing that. And I just said to him, guess who's voicing Bowser? And he just said, Jack Black. Straight away.
Shut up. Really?
Maybe he did hear, but I don't know. He said he didn't know. He seemed amazed that he got that right. But the thing is, the thing is, and also, who was the other person I'd heard of? Oh, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Does this mean Donkey Kong's going to talk?
I don't. You know what? It's going to be an interesting watch. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm happy. This is the kind of thing where I'm happy to like close my eyelids, cover my ears, and be completely oblivious till I sit in the cinema and watch it.
Definitely, because the thing, when it comes to casting as well, I learnt last year or the year before, I was very sceptical about Jim Carrey as Robotnik until I saw the film, and I absolutely loved him as Robotnik in the end. So anyone who gets cast as anyone, I'm all for it now.
Yeah, they've got their reasons to cast them, especially for animations, you know, because it's still acting. Yes. It's just a different sort of acting, I suppose.
I just hope that as well, that because I'm glad that most of them I've never heard of as well, because I am worried that I'll be seeing Mario on screen, but every time he talks I'll just be picturing Chris Pratt at a microphone, because that sometimes happens when you get big names doing animated stuff, if they don't disguise their voices well enough. But I'm sure he can do it.
But that's exactly that's what I was like getting to, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I think it's a testament to the actor's performance, you know, where you know it's them, but they're doing such a phenomenal job. It kind of like keeps the illusion alive.
So yeah, so that was probably the most entertaining part of the direct. Anyway, yeah, looking forward to seeing this film next year. Okay, so the next one is Splatoon 3.
I can't wait. I'm a massive fan of Splatoon as a whole. I think one of the best things that came out of the Wii U was Splatoon, by far.
Definitely.
By far. Like I remember when the game got announced and it was released, I was working in game at the time as well.
Oh, cool.
I remember grabbing a copy. I was so happy. Like it's a really, really cool game. Like I got Splatoon 2 day one when it came out on the Switch. I'm not the best Splatoon player, but I got to S rank and held my own for quite a bit, to the point where I was actually looking for people to basically create a team, because I would love for the opportunity to play competitively.
Oh, cool. See, with Splatoon, I enjoy Splatoon. I'm not very good at it, but I don't play it a whole lot, and I mean, I want to see more about this one, because I played Splatoon 2 less than Splatoon 1, and that's just because I don't know, I enjoy playing it. I'm not that into the world of it though.
Yeah.
Like when they were showing the trailer yesterday, I was saying, oh, what's that? Has that been in Splatoon before? Like, I didn't know.
The thing that caught my attention was, because this is the thing, like Splatoon, you buy it mainly for the multiplayer, but the stories are decent. When you play single player, They're pretty decent, and it's a good way to get your head around the mechanics of the aiming and so forth. I love seeing some of the new stuff, like that crab that turns into a ball. I think that's kind of like a mech that you can ride, and now I don't know if that's something. I don't know if that's like a weapon that you use, or if it's a power up that once your gauge fills, you can activate.
That did look cool, that thing.
It looked amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so that's out next year. Did they didn't say a month, or they just said 2022, didn't they?
If I had to guess, I would think it's before the summer, maybe.
My guess is June, because the first one came out in the May and the second one came out in July, I believe. So June will be those 3 months. Gets a Splatoon release.
It's going to be a good summer.
Yes. And then they ended with a trailer everyone's been wanting to see for nearly 5 years now. No, nearly 4 years now. That is Bayonetta 3. Are you a Bayonetta player?
Dude, I was going to ask you, like, how do you feel about this?
I really like the trailer. I really enjoyed the first 2 Bayonetta games, and this looks awesome.
What did you like? Because I remember during the stream we were all like jumping, saying, "Is this Wonderful 101?"
Oh, I see what you mean. Because what happens is it starts off with that city, and there's that tower, and it says 101 on it.
Yeah.
Which that's what I thought. But then another tower has a sign saying Platinum on it, so it's just references to Platinum's other games. And then there was that dog from Astral Chain appears, and that was the moment where I was like, it's not another Astral Chain game, is it? I liked Astral Chain, I didn't beat it though. I'm like, why are they wasting time on another Astral Chain game when we want Bayonetta?
You know what's mad? You're like, I've met more people that have not finished Astral Chain. It's honestly, myself included, I've got really far, haven't finished it yet. What's that?
I didn't get really far. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It was just kind of hard to pick up. I found, like, when you're into it, it's great, but after you've put it down, it's hard to pick it back up again.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I felt. But yeah, so Bayonetta 3 is coming out next year. They've confirmed that, 2022. Yeah, that was pretty much the whole direct then. So, what were your overall thoughts? I think you said at the beginning anyway.
Just to recap, like, just to give very quickly my 2 cents on Bayonetta 3. I couldn't be happier. I'm happy how they announced it. She looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to
got a new hairstyle as well.
You know what? I loved when she, like, how it was very tongue-in-cheek, how she just came into the picture, and she basically said something along the lines of, like, I know I've kept you waiting, but now I'm going to give you everything you wanted. And then she just looks at the camera. Dude, honestly, I love it. Like, I've replayed it so many times.
Self-aware.
She looks at the camera, she winks, and she gives like a cheeky smile. And I just think, you know what? Worth the wait, 100%.
Yes.
One thing to bear in mind, right? And I think, and I think this is kind of something that, in my opinion, something we've had to understand about the development. Games get delayed, things happen, we've had COVID, like, you know, we've been living in crazy times. Having said that, the first 2 games were quick ports because they've already been out. This game has been built from the ground up.
Yeah.
So things are going to take time. And I know there's been some crazy things happening in-house with Platinum. Another thing is that I'm liking to. I don't know about you. I got a sense that she's gonna be fighting Japanese Shinto / yokai angels or demons. Do you know what I mean? Because she always fights.
Yeah.
She always fights angels, and in the second one she fights angels and demons. But this one she's in Japan. Like in the second one she's like, it could be New York City or whatever. But in this one she's clearly in Japan, and the demons you see in the trailer, they kind of look like the Japanese gods. You know, like they've got that like scarf thing that floats over their heads. Do you know what I'm talking about? They kind of look. They just look very Japanese, yokai kind of characters. And at the end of the trailer, there's there's someone holding a samurai. So I think it's going to be very Japanese themed, or it's going to use a lot of Japanese culture into it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't really notice that myself, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, definitely. But one thing to point out is because if you're counting Nintendo's publishing this one, so I always think when it comes to sort of the Switch releases, when people say about how Nintendo, we want them to keep putting out games, I always think if Nintendo can put out one major game a month, I think that's pretty good going from them.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, next year we know about so far, we got Pokemon Legend Arceus, Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, and the Mario Rabbids sequel, and one more, Kirby as well. So that's 6 games. They've got half the year covered already for next year. And potentially Metroid Prime 4 as well.
One can only hope.
So next year could be really good. That's what I was getting at.
My only, you said at the very beginning of this episode what I was expecting. Again, I wasn't holding my breath on anything. Like if things that I was hoping for got announced, it would have been a bonus. I do feel, however, and this again, I don't want to be like fanboying or anything like that, but I think it's a massive disservice to Donkey Kong, its franchise and its heritage, that Donkey Kong's 40 and they haven't really announced anything for it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's his 40th.
Because do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at least, to be fair, right? Like they've done something for Mario, for better or for worse. They've done something. They've done something for Zelda, for better or for worse. They've done something. They've done something for Metroid. Okay, because they've announced Dread.
Yeah.
But Donkey Kong...
Yeah, nothing for Donkey. I didn't think, because there was rumours of a 3D Donkey Kong game in the works.
It could be that they treat it where they might announce something before the end of the financial year, which is, what, March, April?
Yeah, February Direct would cover that, but then that would be too soon between announcement and launch, wouldn't it?
Again, real-world events have shifted everything and delayed everything, so who knows? But I don't know. I just think surely they can't just go out without, I don't know, announcing something, or they haven't even acknowledged it.
They have announced that Seth Rogen's voicing him in the movie.
Yay! Happy birthday.
that's acknowledging Donkey Kong this year. There we go. Not even Donkey Kong 64 on the N64 games.
Mate, honestly, like even if they remade Donkey Kong 94 on the Game Boy,
that'd be good.
Honestly, if they made a remake of that, I'd buy 3 copies. Honestly, like, because that is such an epic game.
Yeah. So those were our thoughts on each announcement from that Nintendo Direct. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a decent Direct, and you Azdin?
Yeah, for the most part, very, very happy. That there's not, again, very, very little criticisms, and it's more of opinions. As a Direct, it was very, very good, in my honest opinion.
Yes, definitely. So let people know something about your channel and what to expect from you.
So, firstly, thank you to everyone who's taken that time to hear us talk for a bit over an hour, I think, on the Direct.
I look forward to editing this.
Yeah, I bet. No, basically, just thank you to you, Dave, and to all the people who subscribed to my channel. I do it for you guys mainly. Moving forward, going forward, I want to be able to add better quality content. I'm always trying to make things better, so that's why I appreciate everyone's feedback through the comments. I've got some really juicy stuff coming onto the channel. I'm hoping to go to the EGX Expo in London in a few weeks, and I want to make a few videos based on it. And I've got a really cool custom your play video based on a PS5 controller, which I would love for you to check out when I load it up.
So yeah, I've put a link to your channel in the top pinned comments. So everyone click on that if you want to see. Make sure you subscribe over there if you like what you see, if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. That would be very nice of you. You'd be my friend if you did that. So thank you again, Azdin. And thank you to everyone who has watched all the way to the end here. I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me, Dave. You're a legend. Thank you.